Hello, Steve White, Triple 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, I just watched the second episode of season 3 of Lower Decks because I totally forgot about it somehow, and now we're up to the third episode, so I'm going to watch that next. But I'm doing separate reviews. I thought about doing a double review, but I'm just going to keep them separate because I'm going to forget what happened in the first episode after I watched the third episode. But this episode was called The Least Dangerous Game. Now, it starts off, and they're playing some sort of Klingon game, and they've got, it's either Gowron or Martok or someone. It's one of the original Next Generation Klingons. It actually looks like an original canon Klingon from Next Generation. And I think they got the original actor back. It's pretty good. And it's one of the things I like about Lower Decks is that it actually looks and feels like Star Trek. When they're not making fun of Star Trek, it actually looks and feels like Star Trek in animated version. I mean, I didn't like the first season. The second season started off bad, but it sort of shifted, and I feel like they've kind of worked out, for the most part, what works with the show, and I'm enjoying the third season. It's only 2 episodes in, but I am kind of enjoying it. It's not bothering me like it did in the first season, but there's still a couple little things. They seem to have a character reset. There's sort of no growth or progress, where Boilerma keeps sort of going back to the same sort of issues that he had, and he doesn't seem to be learning anything, so that was something that sort of bothered me in this episode. So the episode starts off with Boilerma being upset that other cadets and ensigns or whatever are progressing and he's not, and he's afraid he's going to stay an ensign forever. And how they didn't make a Harry Kim joke, I don't know. But he just gets a bit of help from Tindy, who says, you are... Because he's like, I plan everything perfectly. Why isn't this working? She's like, you plan everything. You don't take opportunities as they come. You miss things. And, you know, that's the problem. So you need to just say yes to things and be open to things. So he's like, okay, I'm going to say yes to everything, which is a bit extreme because, you know, you can't just say yes to everything. So, of course, he does that, which kind of makes him look stupid, and he's kind of stupid script writing-wise, character-wise. But, like I said, they seem to do that with Boilerman, where he just makes the same mistakes over again, and there's not a lot of character progression. It is kind of like the sitcom reset, which I don't really think works in this show. But yeah, so he says yes to playing that like racket sort of ball game, and then he's squealing, gets the attention of the Bajoran security officer, who invites him to be on the choir that he's on, which scores him points with him. Then one of the people on the choir is some creepy stuff, guy who asks him to pose for an art class. He does that. He scores points with him. And then he's talking to Tindy in the mess hall because they're hosting the people who got stranded by a orbital lift that wasn't working, because they're currently at a planet fixing the orbital lifts on a planet which uses orbital lifts because their orbit doesn't allow them to beam through it or whatever. So while they're there, some guy who is like a alien, like predator sort of culture, basically he's like looking for someone to be his prey because he needs to hunt. And of course Boilerman says yes because he's saying yes to everything mindlessly. And I guess he assumes that he's actually not going to kill him. And then he realizes, oh, this guy's going to kill me. So he spends half the episode running through the ship screaming, like he has in the past when anything sort of happens, and I'm like, why is this character not developing? He just seems to be doing the same thing, like it's funny. It's like, it's not really funny. It's just sort of... So that's the part of the episode that kind of irked me, the fact that he did eventually realise how to sort this out, was to stand up and take this guy on, and he just ended up with a spear through his shoulder and nerve damage. But then the guy just takes a selfie and he's like, no, I believe in catch and release. I respect all life forms. So he was never going to kill him, which is probably why the captain didn't do anything when he came to her and said, I need your help, because she was originally going to send a security team out to protect him. And then she's like, oh, Cranch? I think that's his name, Cranch. Oh, I just had mimosas with him or something. No, you gave your word, you got to get hunted, see ya. And I'm like, are you serious? I guess she knew that it wasn't, he wasn't going to kill him, and it was just like, a game. So yeah, so he survives, he learns something, but will it make any difference to his character? Will he be the same screaming, hysterical, thing in the next episode? I don't know. I just wish the jokes could happen to him and him not continue to be the joke. But yeah, now the other part of the story, which I just realised I took way too long on the first part of the story, is Mariner is still under the thumb of Ransom, and they've gone down to fix the space lifts and space elevators, and she's not happy with how he's doing things, and she does think she knows better, and she does end up just ignoring his commands and orbital space diving down to the planet to try and save Rutherford and the other guy, the other engineer, because they've gone down, because he said, look, just go down and enjoy the planet, we'll fix this. And of course he doesn't know what he's doing because he's not an engineer, and he's not listening to her because she keeps saying we need the engineers, we should be on the planet liaising and doing whatever diplomats do, while the engineers actually fix the lifts. But he wants to do it, and then he turns around and says, look, Mariner, I really thought that you were going to disobey my orders, and you were just going to think you know best, and just go do your own thing and ignore my orders, but you didn't. So I thought about it, and you're right, we really need to go down, help the other guys and get them back and have them fix the engineering and all that. And she's like, mid-orbital space dive, like, yeah, of course. So she has to pull her chute, stop, and then climb back up. She gets there just in time for him to say, okay, let's skydive down, orbital dive or whatever it is down there. So they do that. They get there just in time to find the two guys hanging over a volcano, because this race that's obsessed with health had an issue with them walking into a sacred site without their belly buttons exposed or something. So he basically strips his shirt off, and because he's a perfect specimen of physical health and exercise, they listen to him and they spare them. And Mara kind of has to admit that he did fix the situation, but she also feels like he caused it. And he does say, thank you, I appreciate that you didn't disobey my orders, that you actually listened. And she's like, yeah, I was really hoping she would actually have some integrity and say, actually, I didn't believe you, I didn't trust in you as a superior officer, and I was basically on my way to disobey your orders when you actually agreed to do what I wanted. And I wish she'd been honest, but so that was a bit of a flaw in the character. She's, so I wish that had happened. But basically, she left him feeling like she respects him and listened to him, and she complimented him on resolving the situation. So she kind of helped the situation with him, but I don't think she really learned anything really. But then again, he did do in the end what she thought he should do. So I'm not sure if there was any progress there or not. But that's the episode. I was really trying to do it in 5 minutes, but I couldn't. I am enjoying the show. It does feel like Star Trek on some level, but they need to keep the jokes, laughing with Star Trek, with Starfleet, but too much of it is laughing at Star Trek and laughing at Starfleet. That still irks me, because I respect Star Trek, and I think it's people who don't respect Star Trek and don't really like Star Trek like this show because they can laugh at it. You really should be laughing with it. So the joke should be, so that's still, I'm not 100% for the show, but I'm about 75% there. I'm mostly enjoying it, which is a shock because I hated the first season. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to go watch the third episode. And I do enjoy that they didn't use like the Discovery Klingons or anything, and they're just ignoring that whole world. And aside from, and everyone's jumping on, oh my god, there was a Star Trek 2009 reference in the video in the episode, because they jumped out of the sky, and it's like that scene in the film, and I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't really count. It's not actually acknowledging something from their canon or anything. It's just, just a similar sort of circumstance. But I'm going to stop talking because I don't want to get to 10 minutes, but I'm already at 9 minutes. Close enough. I was hoping if I couldn't get 5, I'd at least stop at like about 7.5 minutes, but no, I'm still talking. So I'm going to go. Bye.